Good morning. It's Wednesday. It's happens to be June 15th, 2022, if what I wrote on that little placard is correct. And my name is Jay Cleveland Payne. That part is correct. These will be things you might have heard for this day. Things happened in the last 30 hours of news coverage that you might not have picked up on because they weren't necessarily top line stories. Now that we are sort of getting what's called essentially Ukraine fatigue for the over 100 days of war there, and that's not dominating things, and COVID not quite under control. It's still there, but not as rampant as a wildfire of stories there. We're having more stories back to a normal process for news gatherers and news presenters to give you things that are more rounded news stories. So some of these things are really top line stories, but some of them are a bit off the beaten track that you may get a kick out of and be great for your water cooler talk throughout the day. For more details on how the Conversation Project works, go to our main website. This is theconversationproject.com. We'll go through a long list of things you can do for us towards the end of today's video. 7 full stories to get through today because there is just 7 of the 15 in range that you vetted as good stories that I could not let go of. One of them so good we literally posted it about an hour and a half ago, and it's the top story within 30 hours. So we're talking about it now, probably because of confusion with another story that is a pretty big one trending. We'll get to that one as the second story in the listing. Let's get to story number 1, and that is this one. Crypto platform Coinbase cuts more than 1,000 staff. This one was barely in range to chat about, you says, as in the vetted stories. However, this goes along the lines with what we had yesterday as 2 big stories talking about crypto and cryptocurrencies. Coinbase, which was one of the bigger, earlier crypto wallets, cryptocurrency exchanges out there for people to get into, regular people to get into, is cutting about 1,000 staff. That's about 10%, I believe, or so. You can read the story in the rundown and see exactly how many folks that is. That's about 10% of the people, the staff they have there. Yesterday we talked about crypto.com cutting about 25% of its staff. And I'm sorry, yeah, Crypto.com cut about 25% of the staff and blaming Matt Damon and his big commercial for that, and other crypto exchanges that are shutting down. Yesterday it was Celsius. Today, Crypto.com or Crypto Coinbase is not shutting down, but they're cutting staff because there's not a lot of trading, and all the trading that is going is just essentially cashing out of the asset that may be an asset, as it is, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the like. Next story was like I said, in the past 30 hours. This one only had about 2 hours a chance to play along, and it became the top story of all things. Now, I think it's because of a bit of confusion, but let's start with what we have. Lauren Boebert pushes to classify fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. FoxNews.com is our source of this, and there were many sources of this news story. Lauren Boebert's trying to do something serious and doing it in a silly way, and it just so happens that it's coinciding with another rumor that is not doing her any favors, unfortunately. She wants to classify fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. That would give us extra cause to attack fentanyl as it's being produced around the world and shipped in here to the States to destroy Americans, specifically, as she basically believes. Let's go into a actual quote that she says. It's in this article here from Fox News. It reads like this. This would enable the Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security, Drug Enforcement Agency, and Department of Defense to better coordinate their efforts and immediately publish the necessary administrative directive to eliminate the threat posed by this deadly substance, Boebert said in an interview with Fox News Digital. Continuing, we all know how serious the fentanyl crisis is. Fentanyl is the #1 cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45, and it's not slowing down. Boebert says fentanyl is absolutely a weapon of mass destruction, but noted her bill would not target legally prescribed fentanyl, pointing to the toxin botulinums, I can't read this date, weapons of mass destruction classification, while still being legally used for Botox treatments. Botulism, I can't say botulism. That's not how it, I guess that's how it's spelled. Essentially, fentanyl is Botox as well, so you can still get your Botox injection, but you can't snort it on the street because I don't know. However, what's really basically fueling this is the other thing trending on social media about Lauren Boebert, which there are no real press stories about yet, at least not as we pull this up. We pulled the story very late in the night and posted it to post in the morning, so I had things to post. This was something that was basically put in line to post at 3 in the morning, posted at 10 o'clock at night. However, what's happening is there's a rumor going around, and there are various the documents saying that it's more than a rumor that Ted Cruz paid Lauren Boebert about $120,000 while working as a unlicensed sex worker, and the fact that she had 2 abortions. That's what's flowing around. That's not what I'm talking about here. Yeah, I just sort of talked about it, but there you go. But that's sort of what's floating around and making Lauren Boebert trending at the moment. That's what's really trending, along with this actual story. When I saw that pop up in the feeds of trending stories, I look for actual stories. I got this one. It's a twofer. I got to put in an actual story she's doing that may actually be for the good of people for a change, and sort of rat her out as being a hypocrite. Now, the biggest things applying on that one is the fact that she's, of course, fighting against the abortion rights, but, of course, had 2 abortions on her own, and she's criminalizing, things like sex work when she apparently was a sex worker somewhere between being a high school dropout and all that other stuff going on. I don't know. That's all on her, but as a public figure, we get to talk about it. Don't you just love some America? That's how things work around here. Story number 3, and we're only at number 3. Marilyn Monroe's dress seemingly damaged after Kim Kardashian wore it. ScreenRant.com gives us that one. This was a story that we teased as one to talk about, and you wanted to talk about it. So let's do this. Kim Kardashian wore Marilyn Monroe's 1962 gown to the 2022 Met Gala in New York, and the famous dress now appears to be damaged from the night. Now, how did it get damaged? We don't know if she was dancing in that way and bumped into a chair or something. We don't know. It's just a lot of the whole Kim Kardashian butt just stretching out. But apparently the dress made for the very curvy Marilyn Monroe is now not exactly in best shapes to have it. And of course, leading to this, adding fuel to the fire, already blazing fire, Kim caused more anger when she admitted to an interview on the red carpet that she lost 16 pounds in order to fit into the gown. The Kardashian star initially tried on the dress and was denied the opportunity to wear it because it didn't fit her properly. Instead of finding a different look for the night, the ever-determined business mogul went back to the drawing board and returned to Ripley's Believe It or Not museum in Orlando, Florida, 16 pounds lighter. So apparently it was the curves of Miss Kardashian who has basically destroyed the dress of Ms. Monroe. You want more comments on that? Just put them in the comments for the video, or shoot me an email and we'll chat this one up as well. Next story to talk about. This one, a lot more heft. Yellowstone National Park closes entrances, evacuates visitors, and amid unprecedented rainfall. Today, USAToday.com posted this one, and this was posted towards the tail end of the beginning end of the 30 hours of coverage we have on this one. This story right here is just getting more and more tragic. If you've not watched the news and seen coverage of houses floating down the river and the wildlife just sort of stranded by the waters, that's what we're seeing right now. This flooding in Yellowstone National Park has caused for evacuations of people for 2-3 days now. Just people just stuck in there. The rain apparently has stopped, at least for the moment, but the runoff is what's the key issue. This will be 2 or 3 days of cresting and then runoff going through right here. If I had it, my other screen has a picture I'm watching on CNN, which has a picture of someone recording, houses floating down the street and things like that. If I could switch to that one fairly easily, I would do that. But that's going to be a bit more of a challenge than one would think. And of course, I can't talk without burping, so that becomes an issue as well. So we're going to let that go. But check it out in the rundown and see some pictures, see some of the. We'll see when this ad is done here. There's some pictures there in the video of what's happening, devastation of the river in Yellowstone National Park and the flooding. There's a house right there collapsing into, oh, you can't see it because I don't have it up. Sorry, I had the wrong one up. Doing it live, folks. There's a house floating down the river. There's some of the damage being done from erosion. There's the highway and exactly where it is, a washed out bridge up there. What's happening there. So we're sending lots of prayers and thoughts out to the folks who are dealing with this calamity, because it is a very dangerous situation out there. Fake Klay Thompson gets banned from life for attending Warriors game after fooling security and taking shots on court before Game 5 in NBA Finals. That was a long and torturous read, but that is exactly what happened. Fake Klay Thompson, who you will see in mere moments. There he is towards your right. He's just a guy that's been going to Warriors games that kind of looks like a fat Klay Thompson. What did he do? He literally walked through security and was on the floor for shoot arounds for the Warriors and the Boston Celtics game that was happening on Monday, 2 days ago, for Game 5. Which, by the way, the Warriors won. They're up now 3-2, and they're ruining my prediction of Celtics in 6. Now it's got to be Celtics in 7 if they're going to make that happen. So that's what happened. So if you scroll down in the story, he goes, there's fake Klay Thompson. He does some tweets about why he got banned, and shows the letter, him officially being banned from the center. No more Warriors games for him. No more fake Klay Thompson fame for that one, unless he hangs out outside of the stadium. But fake Klay Thompson has been banned from the Warriors arena because he was out there pretending to be an actual warrior, embarrassing their security staff. And Britney Spears and Sam Asghari have a prenup. People.com gave us this story, and this is one that's actually a pretty cool, if you believe it or not. So we all wonder about what kind of people marry the broken people, if you will. There are people who will marry people in prison for life because we don't really know. They marry mass murderers and serial killers. But this is one that, is a sweet thing. Britney Spears met Sam Asghari in her final part of her life. We talked about the story where her second husband tried to break into the wedding, got squashed and stuff like that. But Britney Spears and Sam Asghari, hopefully I'm saying Asghari, signed a prenup so that if something happens to Britney and their children that they're planning on having, they will have protection for Britney's estate. Britney's kids get all of her stuff, but Sam does not get any of her previous earnings. So earnings from this point on for Britney Spears are joint family ventures, which is great because that's how you do things. But right now, Britney Spears won't give any of her past earnings to her current husband, which is a good thing, and he agreed to that, which is the way things should go. Yes, things should go. Guys should not marry rich women and take all their money. No. Women should not marry rich men and take all their money. No. People that come in with much assets beforehand should have them legally separated, things like that. My next ex-wife, who will probably be rich, we will make sure that's taken care of. I'm not marrying her for her money and divorcing her for her money, because that's not how it works. All right, don't beat me up, Christina with a K. Last story for the morning is this one right here. It is woman who gave birth to her rapist baby as a teen ordered to pay him child support after losing custody. We are running a little late on time, and this is not an easy story to really break down in. So I'm asking you to click on the link inside of the rundown and see more about this. This is a story out of Louisiana. A girl who was in her teens was out to dinner with some friends. A 30-year-old guy offered to give her a ride home. Instead of taking her straight home, took her to his house and raped her on his couch. She got pregnant. She had a baby. Basically, her family just sort of made it sound like she just had something with a teenage boyfriend. A few years later, the man, because it was a community person, he was new to the community when he got there. The man realized he might have been the father, sued for paternity. Had a DNA test, found out it was his, got custody, and now he has full custody of the child. This lady is now in her 30s, by the way, and he has full custody of the child, and she is paying child support to the father. This is a deeper story that goes kind of into the narrative of the big narrative we're talking about right now, whether you agree or not with the big narrative, or whether you agree with how this thing played out. This just seems like a case of weird southern Louisiana politics and just stuff like that, the way it played out. However, read the story, check the list out. It's really sad. It's really depressing. It goes to a point to the greater issue, and you'll get what I mean if you don't once you start reading it. But the smaller issue of what happened to this woman here is extremely tragic. So read this story and make sure you do this one. This is one that you won't even, this is one that will catch you well off guard, because you'll never expect something like this to happen in a place like America. And yes, this thing happens all the time in a place like America. So this is our teaser story for tomorrow, and this is a possible story we can talk about. Sports World reacts to Little Caesars becoming the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. And of course, Little Caesar is popping up as the sponsor in the commercial, in the ads. pop-up ads for this story because it read, the internet reads its mind. We skipped a couple other really cool stories about this for a teaser, which you can get to as well. One about Bradley Cooper saying he was actually a cocaine addict before he did the Hangout. Another about a singer who was about to do the national anthem for one of the college women's World Series games, but it was against Texas. She did the upside down horns sign, which is basically saying "I hate Texas" somewhere fine, and she got canceled. But this is the one that we are advertising. If you want to hear this one or one of the other ones, we'll tell you how to do that in a bit. Just basically make sure it gets its engagement it is due. Go look for it when this one's actually already posted. Go engage it, read it, and give it engagement. And the more engagement you give to it, the better chance it comes up in the top 15 for tomorrow. But right now, let's talk about money, and let's talk about houses, and let's talk about your money and not your house. Here's the deal. Right now, the markets are all sort of crazy. And what's really, really, really weird is if you have money in housing, you're making money at the moment. Maybe it's a bubble that's going to burst, but in some cases, it's going to basically rebound to something that is going to be stable. If you want to get directly into real estate, try Fundrise. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com/Fundrise, and this is our affiliate link to get you into Fundrise. They're going to offer you 30 days off your advisory fees off the bat, so you can put money in and it not cost you any money to get going. They're also going to give you extra shares of stock right now as an incentive to get in right now before things get a little crazy. Once you have your shares in there, life will happen. Things will go up and down. Right now, everything's up in these things. But just like 6 months ago, where crypto was up to the moon, and it's not. So real estate is an actual asset that you can physically own. But instead of going out and buying houses, fixing them and flipping them yourself, you can let Fundrise basically do that for you. They buy properties across the United States. They give you updates on what they're buying, what's being used for, from commercial properties to rental properties to high rises to apartment buildings to warehouses, and you get money from that. You get a dividend from that pretty efficiently. I have made a good, nice chunk of Fundrise in the 6 months I've been in here, and I'm not investing lots of money. So it's a great, steady investment, and I'm just sort of waiting for it to ride out. I'm in the process of, house hunting, so we're looking at the market for houses. Real estate's expensive, so people that are selling are getting a good bit on this. People that are own stuff and renting are getting a good bit on these things. So if you want to get in on this thing and have a little less worry because someone else manages it for you, try Fundrise. This is theconversationproject.com/Fundrise. Check it out. It's an affiliate link, as you said, so we get a little cut from what you get from it, but try it out today. And if you don't like it, pull your money out within 30 days. You're pretty much at, whatever losses have come in that range, it's all you're out for that. So our main website is theconversationproject.com. Check it out for more details on what we have going on, including places to see more sponsorships, folks that can help you out and help us out, and partnerships directly. Find out if you want to directly partner what we're doing here at The Conversation Project. The feeds are where you can find the stories where you can like, love, hate, share, and engage in. Facebook.com/This is the Conversation Project and Twitter.com/TH_conversation. As you check your feeds every day, just see what we have going on and engage with stories. At 5 a.m., we cut off the timeline for what's going on, and it basically goes back to about a few hours the day before, about 1 a.m. I can't do my math. About 11 p.m. the day before, the full 24 hours of the day prior, and 5 hours there. So about 30 hours there of time to choose from to get your stories from. We will take it, put it into a spreadsheet that gives us a full engagement score, and we go from the top 15 stories. There's about 33 stories in a day get posted, but top 15 stories we will pull from and give you 5 to 7 on a regular day. And if you're not watching us on our YouTube channel, we need more people to subscribe there. Go to thisistheconversationproject.com/YouTube. Subscribe as a great favor to me, and make sure you hit notifications so that you get the notification at 5 a.m. weekday mornings when we do this thing, except when we don't do this thing. We got a little bit of some scheduling things and some technical issues popping up, so we'll see how well this thing works in the next couple of days. I'm going out of town next week, to be honest, so we're going to see how the tech works on the remote equipment. But yeah, we'll see. But we want to keep the thing going, keep things moving, and we'll put something out so it's something for you to enjoy and get your day started. Also, things you might not have heard are today things literally today things. Today things including birthdays for Helen Hunt, who's 59, and Courtney Cox, who's 58. I picked these two out of a big list of people with birthdays today, including the president of China, who's turning 69 today. Because remember when back in the day on the TVs, when we watched TV, when shows like Friends and Mad About You were on, Helen Hunt played the adult wife in that sitcom, and Courtney Cox was the youngish one of the youngest females of the Friends and Friends, and literally they're the same age, so they could have played the same character on the other show. Although Helen Hunt, well, we'll say let's not go on aging gracefully on that one. Neil Patrick Harris also getting a bit older this year, 49 years old on the day. Today is support ends for Internet Explorer Day, and that's not the actual title for the day, but today support ends for IE, Internet Explorer, that thing we all called internet back in the day when you clicked on it and your mother said, my internet's not working, and it's like, well, use another browser. Well, I click on internet, well, man, mom, that's E for Explorer, not internet. You get the picture. Internet Explorer, the actually groundbreaking browser back in its day, and now has lost support as Microsoft has not only just upgraded its real browser, it rebuilt it from the ground up with the Edge browser. And at this point forward, what's going to actually happen to your computer is they're going to send out some updates and literally erase it from the internet. They're going to pull it off your computer unless you don't connect it to the internet, which of course doesn't really work in it. There are workarounds for people. I actually have an issue where we have some programs at work that run off some legacy code that need Internet Explorer to run them. So there are some ways to run it in Edge, so you're not going to lose all your data, lose all your access. Just get with your IT guys and see what you can do about Internet Explorer. But if you've moved long past it, then along with Clippy, IE is gone, but not forgotten. Also, on the door, the average cost of a wedding in 2022, everything is up right now because crazy inflation and whatnot. The average cost of a wedding for 2022 is coming up to about $27,000, up from roughly $24,000 pre-pandemic. So it was expensive there. My weddings, two of them, cost about $200, and that was for the license and just giving the preacher a little something and the license. It's a long story. We'll go into that on a much later date. There's lots of tears involved. Wednesday, June 15th, 2022 is today as I'm speaking this. Maybe it's not today as you're watching this tomorrow, but so enjoy today, yesterday, today. These are things that you might not have heard. These have been things you might have heard, more grammarly correct. And we want to remind you, because we're running low on time and people have to get to work and get this news out to the world, to stay hydrated, stay limber, stay on task, because we need you to do all the great things you are doing. Thank you so much for joining us for this morning. And join us for tomorrow morning, where we'll do more of the same. Give you some stories that might have been off the beaten path, but still pretty interesting. Some still pretty tragic and sad, but things you might want to know. And they may be a few extra pieces of ammunition for you to use in your talk back and forth. And yes, now you know two stories about Low and Boebert. Go look up the other one and click the link in our rundown to see about the one we talked about and figure out which one you think is the reason why she's actually trending. In the meantime, I'm not trending, but I am out. We'll do this again tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us for the show.